Good day and a warm welcome to our 2022 Virtual Candy User Seminar. I am Evilio de Abreu, Head of Customer Success based out of our Pretoria office in South Africa. We would like to thank you, our Candy users from all over the world, for joining this seminar series on how to step up your game by applying the 3 principles of cost control. Let's have a look at the agenda. This seminar series will be running over 3 days, where each day is an hour session that covers one of the principles of effective cost control. Today is about the first principle, establishing a good baseline. This is a key principle because it is important to have a good base of project information before you can kick off a project. And Wasim will be showing us today on how this is achieved in Candy. Tomorrow is about our second principle, knowing the current status of the project. This is about knowing the to-date status of a project, and Jay from our Dubai office will be showing us tomorrow on how to achieve this in Candy. And then on the last day, it's about know where the project is heading. This is about the forecast and at completion status of a project. And Jared from our UK office will be showing us how we can achieve this in Candy. If you haven't registered for tomorrow or day 3, please follow the QR code on screen to book your virtual seat. Even if you can't attend the live event, please still register because you will receive a link to view the recordings. Due to the time constraints, we won't be able to answer any questions while the event is running. But please use the question function on screen. A Candy consultant in your region will get back to you after the 3-day series. We will also have a feedback form at the end of each day for you to post your comments. And by doing so, you have access to a promotion on offer. Today, we have Wasim Surti presenting, establishing a good base. Wasim is from our Pretoria office in South Africa. He is a technical consultant and has a BSc Honours degree in quantity surveying. He started his career as a quantity surveyor and progressed to estimating in the construction environment. Wasim enjoys football, the outdoors, and spending time with the family. Take it away, Wasim.
Thanks, Evilio. Firstly, we can look at what it is we plan to achieve over the course of the next few days. The graph above indicates the overview of earned value, indicating the original base forecast, shown by the black line, the allowable, shown by the green line, and the real cost, shown by the red line, as well as the impacts of variations and scope change. In order to achieve this, we need to understand what earned value is in Candy. We can begin by understanding what is a financial forecast. A financial forecast is a prediction of future financial events based on current and historical information. Because there are multiple sources of information that must be gathered, the integrity of the information used to create these forecasts and the analysis that follows is frequently impacted by the possibility of data manipulation and the risk associated with data transfer errors. Earned value is a method of measuring and tracking the amount of work completed on a project in comparison to the plan. Simply explained, it's a quick way to see if your project is behind schedule or over budget. Earned value is the allowable to date. This is not a performance indicator in and of itself, but when compared to the cost of the baseline, which is derived from the job program, it can provide meaningful and valuable indicators for better managing the job's finances over time. The impact of scope changes and delays can be indicated, allowing for more informed and timely decisions in job management and better margin control. Candy has the ability to produce financial forecasts and earned value analysis based on an integrated program and estimate. This will aid in determining the contract's schedule performance, the SPI, by comparing the earned allowable to the budgeted baseline cost, as well as the contract's cost performance, the CPI, by comparing the earned allowable to the actual cost. In addition, the at completion SPI and CPI can be determined using the remaining allowables and cost in Candy. To ensure that the required indicators and analysis information retain their integrity as a useful management tool, We must ensure that all sources of required information are checked and analyzed to ensure that they are at the required level of accuracy and that they run in parallel to eliminate time lag adjustments that compromise the information's integrity. In order for us to achieve the following earned value graph, we need to begin with establishing the base. The original base forecast is the planned project value over the project duration. In order to plot the original base in Candy, we need to complete the following steps. Firstly, we are going to be discussing post-tender preparation and value re-engineering. Post-tender preparation and value re-engineering is the process of improving the value of a project by assessing each element of the project and the respective cost associated with the item. The estimate created by the tender department in Candy Estimating can now be used for an on-site project control. In this process, we are able to assess the estimate and adjust the rates to reflect the re-engineered, remodeled costs. When we begin the post-tender and re-engineering process, there is a checklist that we look into. This is referred to as the post-tender checklist. The first step is to copy the job. Once we have done that, we would then clean the job of unused items. We then can set the selling rates and preserve the bid rates and quantities. Once we have preserved the bid rates and quantities, we can begin to remodel the job so that we can reflect the current view of the project. We can set our provisional final quantities and ensure that our resources and bill items have been allocated cost and task codes, before finally assessing our worksheets and resources through our reports by looking at the pricing check, worksheet calculation line check, provisional listing, and resource check. Let's begin to look at all of these steps in further detail. The first step on our post-tender checklist is to copy the job. It is good practice to copy the job before remodeling it for the post-tender stage. This allows you to have a copy of the job as estimated and a new copy of the remodeled job. In this instance, I have already made a duplicate of my job and renamed it. This is done by right-clicking on the job and selecting Duplicate Job. The original job is labeled as Estimate and the copy renamed as Remodel. The second step on our post-tender checklist is to clean up the job. Cleaning the job entails removing the unused aspects of the job. The price code list may contain price codes not used in the bill. Deleting unused price codes will result in having less price codes to check. The job will therefore only contain price codes used in the bill. To delete unused price codes, open the price code listing, select Tools, and delete all unused price codes, and select Yes to confirm. This will remove all price codes that have not been made use of in the bill. Similarly, unused resources can also be deleted. This step can only be done after the unused price codes have been deleted. This is for the reason that price codes use resources, and therefore you cannot delete the resource while they are in use. To delete unused resources, open the resource list, select Tools, delete all unused resources, delete key resources as well, and select Yes to confirm. This will remove all resources that were not used in pricing the bill. The third check on the checklist is to copy the selling rate. The selling rate is used as the contractual rate for printing the interim payment claim to the client. The selling rates and amounts should balance with the signed tender document. The gross rate is not ideal for post-tender stage because any changes made on the net rate through job remodeling will change the gross rate. Adjusting the net rate or applied markup will not affect the selling rates and is therefore ideal for post-tender stage. The selling rate is entered manually or can be copied from the gross rate. A calculated markup column is available and calculates the difference between the selling and the net rate. At tender stage, the job was priced and the markup was applied. The selling rates can now be established by copying the gross rate prior to making any changes or remodeling. To copy the selling rates, right-click in the selling rate column. Select Copy Selling Rates from Gross, tick to lock the selling rates after the copy, and select OK to confirm. This will copy the selling rates from gross and lock it from any changes. The next step on our checklist is to preserve the bid rates and the quantities. A record of bid rates and quantities can be stored. These bid values can be used for comparison against remodeled rates and quantities. Once you have preserved the bid rates and quantities, you can change the net worksheets to reflect the current view of the project, also known as job remodeling. To preserve the bid rates and quantities, right-click in the bid net rate column. Select Preserve all bid rates and quantities and click Yes to confirm. This will keep a record of the net rates and quantities as estimated. Once we have set our selling rates and preserved our bid, we can begin to job remodel. Job remodeling is done by assessing each element of the project and the respective costs associated with it. The site team can now revisit each of the worksheets and adjust the productions to what they will achieve on site. Better buying, better subcontractor rates are considered, and the site team may agree on the production in the worksheets and revisit the construction methods used. By doing this, the site team takes ownership of the project budget and can manage the productivity by using alternative construction methods for improved financial control on the project. On this job, we are able to see that item L, C20 concrete in foundations, is priced at 387.75 and a markup percentage of 12.76. The rate for river sand, which is used to price item L C20 concrete in foundations, is currently at 68 per meter cubed. Through better buying, we are able to increase the value of the project. On this project, we are able to buy river sand for 60 per meter cubed, a decrease in the estimated rate of 68 per meter cubed, as we saw on the previous slide. To do this, simply open the resource list and change the rate for river sand by typing 60 in the final rate column. This has an effect on the net rate for item L, C20 concrete in foundations, decreasing the rate from 387.75 to 382.67, and a markup percentage increase from 12.76 to 14.26. Job remodeling allows us to manage the project budget and improve the financial control. The next step on the checklist is to set final quantities. The bill quantity will normally be used for the first final value projection and as a starting point. It is best to do this before entering any valuation quantities. To copy final quantities, right-click in the final quantity column. Select Copy Final Quantities from Bill and select Yes to confirm. The final quantities can be adjusted and recorded as they are remeasured. Once you have remeasured the final quantities, simply type the remeasured quantity into the final quantity column. For item A, clear and strip site, we have remeasured the final quantity to 6,000 meters cubed. Next, we can allocate cost codes. The cost code, also referred to as the ledger code, is used to summarize resources. The cost code provides resource-based control for managing fixed resources such as material. At post-tender stage, the allowable to date in Candy can be reconciled to the costs to date in accounts. It is therefore important to have the cost code in Candy matching the accounting ledger code. Since complex resources are combinations of simple resources and complexes, we only allocate cost codes to simple resources. To allocate a cost code on the resource list, double-click in the cost code column in line with the resource you would like to allocate, and select the relevant cost code from the pop-up list. In this job, we are allocating cost code 910002 General Labor to resource 22602 Fitter Grade 2. Similarly, we can allocate task codes. Since the cost code provides limited control to productive resources such as plant and labor, the engineering site staff will require the labor and plant allowable in more detail, typically the allowable per task on site. The task code is used to implement functional control on the job and summarizes bill items into categories of function or activity. The key is to summarize items with similar production. By summarizing items with similar production, we are summarizing items with similar resources and therefore similar cost sensitivity. KND provides a simple method of summarizing the bill items into tasks. The allowable for each bill item is broken down into the various resource types. So we immediately have the labor and plant allowable for each task, the exact information required to control the productive resource. If our machine is not being used effectively, it is costing a lot more than if our labor is not being productive. We would have different controls on our plant versus our labor. To allocate a task code, on the bill, double-click in the task code column in line with the bill item you would like to allocate, and select the relevant task code from the pop-up list. In this job, we are allocating task code 0110 excavation to bill item B, excavate in bulk, class A material, and dispose within 2 kilometers free haul distance. Now that we have completed the items on our checklist, there are further reports that could assist to ensure that we have correctly assessed our job. The first report is the pricing check. We are able to customize this report to view the codes we would like to search for, like items with 0 rates or items with no selling rate. For the purpose of post-tender, we are looking for items priced in plug and split rate mode. To conduct this check, in the Estimating tab, click on Review, select Pricing Checked, and select Price Codes on the Direct Cost Bill pages, and include codes priced in plug mode and priced in split mode. The report found no items in the job. However, if an item was priced in either method, the report would identify this item and the page number, the item number, the code, the description, quantity, and rate, as well as a comment to identify if it was priced in plug or split mode, thus allowing you to quickly identify the items and correct them. The next report is the worksheet calculation line check. In the Estimating tab, click on Review, select Worksheet Calculation Line Check, and click on OK to run the report. This job has found no errors on the worksheet calculation lines. However, this check will highlight potential errors found on the worksheet calculation lines, identifying errors with variables, typing errors using the letter O instead of the number 0, as well as errors in the syntax for percentage waste. Next, we can look at provisional listing reports. At tender stage, the estimator may mark worksheets, resources, and bill items as provisional. This report allows you to locate these provisional worksheets, resources, and bill items, allowing you to finalize any items marked as provisional. In the Estimating tab, click on Review, select Provisional Listing, and select Worksheets, and click on the green tick. This job has identified no provisional worksheets. Another report check we can do is a resource percentage check on our key resources. This report allows us to see the utilization, rate, amount, and percentage usage per resource type, and the overall percentage usage on the project. In the Estimating Report Manager, select the report resource percentage, select final quantity, and sort by resource type and on simple resources only. Click on OK and preview the report. We are able to see for material resource 51144 C1319 ready mix concrete. This material resource constitutes 61.45% of the overall material usage on the project and 35.60% of the overall resource on the project. Now that we have completed our post-tender checklist, we can start looking at the contractual program. A contractual program helps with the coordination of the activities to be completed in order to successfully complete a project. KND's planning application, also known as SitePlan, is much more than just a scheduling system for drawing programs. It is a simple yet powerful critical path networking and project control system designed for construction projects. It can be used effectively by a non-planner, but has all the features, functionality, and sophistication required by a professional. The first step is to create a project program. As a contract may consist of many programs, sub-programs, and section programs, the program manager is used to create, structure, and manage your programs easily. To create a program, click on the Program Manager and select New. In this job, we have created the program called Contractual Program. Double-click to select it. Once we have selected our program, we can define the calendar. Calendars are used to store daily information and to specify non-working days and working day patterns for the project. In the calendar setup, we are able to add notes on a daily notepad as well as the daily diary. A total of 9 calendars may be created in SciPlan. This means that if you have a 6D or 6-day calendar, you can allocate the calendar to an activity that works 6 days. The program calendar can be viewed in a daily, monthly, and yearly view. This allows you to view holidays, which are shown in red, and non-working days, which are shown in blue, in different calendar views. To access the calendar in the planning application, click on Main, select Calendars. By clicking on Tools, you are able to view the year planner, access the daily notepad, and add a new calendar. Setting work days, non-work days, holidays, and weekends is done by using the click boxes at the bottom of the document. In this program, we have 3 calendars: the PC or project calendar with 5 working days per week, a 6D or 6-day calendar with 6 working days, and a WE calendar which is working throughout the weekend. We are also able to see the builder's break and public holidays as described in the daily diary. Once we have defined our calendar, we can open our standard bar chart. This document has been customized to view the activity information, duration of the activity, as well as the successor details. The right-hand side of the document is where our bar chart information will be displayed. Since this is a program we are creating from scratch, we need to fill out the activity descriptions based on the activities we are planning to complete for the project to be a success. We are able to add activities simply by typing in the description of the activity into the description column. We can add headings and subheadings to summarize activities in a work breakdown structure by simply adding the heading level number in the T column. In this program, the fan foundation is the main heading with a subheading Earthworks, Foundations, Superstructure, Stormwater Drainage, and Fan Installation. Each subheading is broken down into the individual activities required to be completed. These activities can now be allocated a duration and linked based on their precedence network. To allocate duration to an activities, we can simply type in the duration column or use our mouse pointer in the bar chart window and drag a bar to the desired duration. For this project, we are able to see that Clear Site has a duration of 20 days, and the fan base walls in the superstructure is being allocated a duration of 30 days. Now that we have allocated the duration to each activity, we can begin linking these activities based on their network logic. Candy Planning System is specifically designed for contractors to transfer planning logic and program networking onto the screen for contract control. Firstly, we can look at start-to-start links. A start-to-start relationship between two activities is the number of days from the start of the current activity after which the successor can start. This is referred to as the lead. In the program, we are able to see that Clear Site, Remove Topsoil, has a start-to-start relationship with Excavate in Bulk with a lead of 10 days. This means that Excavate in Bulk can only start 10 days after Clear Site has begun. To link activities with a start-to-start relationship on the program, we can click on the bar on the current activity, Clear Site and Remove Topsoil, with the lead of 10 days, and drag it to the beginning of the successor activity, which is Excavate in Bulk. When using this method, a panel appears which displays the link type, which is start to start, the start link activity, which is A130, and the end link activity, which is A140, together with the lead days from the start, which is 10 days. Clicking on the Calculate button in the bottom right-hand corner will adjust the bars based on their logic links. Next, we can look at end-to-end links. An end-to-end relationship between two activities is the number of days from the end of the current activity after which the successor can end. This is referred to as the lag. In the program, we are able to see that Clear Site Remove Topsoil has an end-to-end relationship with Excavate in Bulk, with a lag of 10 days. This means that Excavate in Bulk can only end 10 days after the activity of Clear Site has been completed. To link activities with an end-to-end relationship on the program, we can click on the end of the bar of the current activity, Clear Site Remove Topsoil, and drag it to the successor activity, Excavate in Bulk, with a lag of 10 days. Once again, when linking using this method, a panel appears which displays the link type, in this instance end-to-end, the start link activity, which is A130, and the end link activity, which is A140, together with the end lag, which is 10 days. KND allows for double links between activities, meaning that activities are allowed to have both start-to-start relationships as well as end-to-end relationships. This principle assists in enhanced progress reporting. Activities can also be linked end to start, which means that a successor activity can only begin once the current activity has been completed. Activities can also be linked using the successor columns. This is done by typing in the successor activity number into the current activity number column. Here, we can see the successor activity number A150, Excavate in Founds and Blind, is entered into the current activity number column, A140, which is Excavate in Bulk. We are then able to allocate the lead and lag, respectively. Once you have completed linking the activities based on your preferred method, we are able to view our project program fully linked. The red bars indicate activities on the critical path, and green bars indicate activities with float. The program is now complete. However, in addition under planning, we have items such as long lead and information schedules. We can add a legend to be viewed on the bar chart. We can add timelines to indicate our seasons, as well as add imposed dates such as the contractual end date. Once we have set our contractual program, and in order for us to analyze and manage the expected cost of the project, we need to link the bill to the program. We have created our bill, completed our remodeling as well as the post-tender checks. We have created our program from scratch and established the relationship between the activities. We are now able to move on to linking the bill of the quantities and the program. When it comes to linking the estimate in the program, there are three methods of linking the BOQ to the program in Candy. Method number 1, creating a program from the estimate. In this instance, we don't have a project program and only have a bill of quantities. We can then create the program from the bill. The advantage of using this method is that it is a quick and fairly accurate budget forecast, which is done by the estimator. Bill items are automatically linked to activities, and it is suited for civil work bills that are more activity-based. In order to link the bill to the program using this method, we take the following steps. As stated, in this method, we have a BOQ as seen on the left. We can then move on to the Planning tab and create a new program by opening up the Program Manager and selecting New at the bottom right. We can then edit the new program information by editing the program name, program start date, work start date, and the working days per week. Click on OK to confirm the program and double-click on the new program to select it. In planning, We open our bar chart window as seen on the right-hand side. To import a BOQ, click on Estimate and select Import Estimate Bill. Once you have selected to import the estimate bill, you then have further three options. The first option is to import every bill item. Click on the checkbox and click on OK. This will import all the bill items as if they were activities. There are 127 items that have been imported into the program with a dummy duration of 5 days. The second option is to create a high-level program. This is to import at a section level heading. Select level 3 and click on OK. This will import heading level 3 from our bill into the program as activities with a dummy duration of 5 days. We can see in this program, section 2, the ventilation shaft, has the fan foundation and the fan as activities. Finally, the last option is at section headings above bill items. Click on OK. This will import the level heading under which bill items exist as an activity with a dummy duration of 5 days. In this program, we can see since Earthworks for the fan foundation does not contain any further heading structure and only has bill items below it, Earthworks for the fan foundation is then imported as an activity onto the program. We can now access our bill of quantities with budget forecast under the Link and Forecast tab. We can size the forecast document to the top of the screen and the project program to the bottom. Using this method creates a dynamic link between the bill items and the activities in the program. We can now see that by leaving the dummy duration of 5 days, the activity of Earthworks in the program in the bottom window spans over months May and June. And in our BOQ with budget forecast document, we can see the net amounts of those bill items, clear and strip site, and so on, spread over the same time period and based on the same duration. In order for us to get an accurate forecast, we need to set the correct durations for these activities. We can do this by typing in the duration into the duration column on the program. Next, we need to link the activities based on the logic and the plan. We can do this by using any of the methods or link types that we've seen in the previous chapter on the contractual program. For this program, we are linking each activity with an end to start relationship, meaning that each successor activity only begins once the current activity is complete. Now, we are able to see our budget forecast for each bill item for each month of the project's duration. We are able to see at the very top that we have a budget forecast of 145,996 for May, 803,980 for June, and so on. We are also able to see it broken down to each bill item to see the budget forecast on the specific bill item spread over its duration. Method 2. Linking the estimate items to the program activities. In this instance, we have a bill of quantities completed as well as a program which was manually developed. The advantages of this method are it produces the most accurate budget forecast, bill items contributes both monetary and resource values on the budget forecast, and program activities contributes duration and sequence of the budget forecast. This method is easy but is very time consuming. To link the bill to the program using this method, we take the following steps. We can now access our bill of quantities with activity allocation under the Link and Forecast tab. We can size the forecast document to the bottom of the screen and the project program to the top. The bill of quantities with activity allocation document is simply a BOQ with a bar chart window as well. We can now begin to manually link the bill of quantities and the program. The first way to link activities and bill items is by dragging and dropping an activity to a bill item. On the standard bar chart document, select the activity Clear Site, Remove Topsoil, and drag it to the build item Clear and Strip Site. Once your cursor is green and indicates a valid drop position, you can drop the activity onto the build item. This will now link the activity to the build item, showing the final quantity, activity number, allocated quantity total, with the default start and end offset of 0 and 100 respectively. Similarly, we can do the inverse of the previous process, this time by dragging and dropping a build item to an activity. On the bill of quantities with activity allocation document, select the bill item Excavate in Bulk, Class A material, and dispose within 2 km freehold distance, and drag it to the activity Excavate in Bulk. Once your cursor is green and indicates a valid drop position, you can drop the bill item onto the activity. This will now link the bill item to the activity, showing the final quantity, activity number, allocated quantity total with the default start and end offset of 0 and 100 respectively. When linking the bill and the program, we can also link the activities and bill items in a one-to-many relationship. Once again, we could link them in either way, meaning we could link multiple bill items to an activity or multiple activities to a bill item. On the standard bar chart document, select the activities Excavate Founds and Blind, as well as Excavate Footing and Blind. Drag both activities to the bill item Excavate in Foundations not exceeding 2 meters deep. Once your cursor is green and indicates a valid drop position, you can drop the activities onto the bill item. You can now see that both activity A040 and activity A050 have been linked to the bill item. A measurement would have to be done in order to split the final quantity of 1125 meters cubed between the two linked activities. The start and end offset percentage may be used for a more accurate representation of when the works will happen, thus only allocating the money, quantity, and resources over the adjusted offset. This is useful when the program is not detailed enough to break down the program activities. Once we have completely linked our bill of quantities to the program, we can then access the bill of quantities with budget allocation document from the link and forecast tab and generate a more accurate forecast based on the bill and the program. Method number 3, creating an estimate from the program. This is similar to method 1. However, in this instance, we don't have a bill of quantities, but we have a project program. We can then create the bill from the program. This scenario is much less likely. However, it is possible in Candy. The advantages of this method are the bill of quantities can be priced and abstracted from a program. Activities are automatically linked to the abstracted bill items, and it is suited for design and bill projects. Like method 1, by creating a bill from the program, this will automatically create a dynamic link between the activities and the bill items, and hence will not need to be manually linked. To utilize this method, we take the following steps. As we can currently see, we have a completed project program at the bottom and a blank bill of quantities at the top. The standard bar chart document has been customized to include the Candy pricing columns of the code, description, unit rates, and amount. In this job, we have a master document in place and can use the master to price the bill items that are created from the program. To allocate a bill item to an activity, double-click in the code column under Candy pricing. This will bring up the master price code list. Select the correct price code from the master price list, in this instance, site clearance, and double-click to select the price code. This will populate the Candy pricing code, description, unit, and rate. We can now go ahead and include the quantity for the item for site clearance. We can type 10,000 into the local quantity column. This will then populate the net amount. Once you have allocated all the price codes against the activities, we can export the program to the bill of quantities. To export the program to the estimate on the standard bar chart document, select Estimate and Export to Estimate. Candy will caution that this process will clear all items in the target bill. Click on Yes to confirm. We can now see the price bill items imported into the bill of quantities along with the heading structure. We can then access the bill of quantities with activity allocation under the Link and Forecast tab, and we are able to see the bill items fully linked to the program. We can also access the bill of quantities with budget forecast, and we are able to see the money forecast of the bill item that was created and is spread over time. Once we have linked the bill and the program, there are a couple of analysis and checks that we could do to ensure that the forecast is accurate and coincides with the total amount on the estimate. All BOQ items must be fully linked to the program activities to generate an accurate budget forecast. The first check we can run to ensure that all items have been fully linked is filtering for over and under allocations. To do this, right-click in the total quantity over and under column and select Filter Over or Under Allocation. In this job, we have found no quantities to match the filter. However, this check will identify all the bill items that have allocated quantities that do not match or add up to the final quantity. You can then make the adjustments to ensure that the correct quantity has been allocated. An alternative check to verify that items have been fully linked is by looking at your cumulative resource histogram and your Candy resource usage. In this instance, we have our program on the left and our resource list showing the utilization based on final quantities on the right. To view the cumulative histogram on the standard bar chart window, click on Histogram and select Estimate Resources. This will bring up a selection box for the resources. For this check, we will select resource 2211, labor, by double-clicking on it and click on OK. To plot the graph cumulatively, click on Histogram, Histogram Options, and select the plotting style to plot cumulative values. This will then plot the graph cumulatively. By hovering the cursor above the plotted graph, the maximum cumulative value in the bottom left-hand corner of the standard bar chart should match the resource usage amount on the resource loss document on the right. Now that we have completely linked the program and the bill, we are able to report on our project. The BOQ with Budget Forecast report shows the money spread over time for each bill item based on their net amounts. Similarly, the Activities with Budget Forecast report shows the money spread over time for each activity on the program based on their net amounts. The BOQ with Resource Usage report shows the net usage of each resource broken down for each bill item. The Cost Code Forecast report shows the money spread over time for each ledger code based on their net allowables. The Resource List Usage Forecast shows the forecasted usage of each resource on the resource list. Here, we can see that for the month of August, we have a usage of 471 bags of OPC bulk 50 kg cement bags, and so on. Finally, we have the Estimate Resource Histogram showing the daily values in the bar graph and cumulative values in the line graph of each resource type. Now that we have linked the program to the bill, we can now store the base of the linked BOQ and program as a guide to measure against our actuals and costs going forward. In order to store the base under the Link and Forecast tab, select Main, select Cost and Allowables, and cost and allowable settings. In the cost and allowable settings, under the Options tab, we select that all bill items and all VOs are chosen. Next, under the Forecast tab, we need to select the program that is linked to the bill of quantities. In this instance, the program is called the contractual program. We then can select the Financial Calendar button to set up the financial calendar. The financial calendar allows us to round our forecast based on our close of cost date. We are able to adjust the contract duration and set the calendar period. For this job, we will select the last working day of the month. Click on OK. This will bring up the financial calendar document showing you your project periods based on your program, project duration, and close of cost dates. Once we have set up the financial calendar under the Link and Forecast tab, open the Link and Forecast Document Manager. Select the tab Financial Forecast and select the document Bill with Quantity Forecast. This is a separate document in Candy that is used to import the bill of quantities linked to the program forecast into the earned value. To import a forecast from a program, click on Tools and select Import Forecast from a program. Select the program. In this instance, it is the contractual program. This will then populate the forecasted quantities for each item. Once we have imported the linked bill of quantities and program into the earned value, we can store our base. To store the base, click on Main, select Cost and Allowables, and select Store Allowables Base. A pop-up will then appear to inform you that the base has been recorded. Once we have done that, we can look at our allowable amount forecast. In the Link and Forecast Document Manager, select the Financial Forecast tab and select Allowable Amount Forecast. This then shows the allowable amount based on the cost and task code and can then be plotted onto the earned value. In order to view the earned value graph, click on the Graph button in the bottom right hand of the document. This now plots the earned value graph, and by looking at the data values, we can see the planned value shows the planned project value over the project duration. Earned value and actual costs are currently the same as the planned value, as we have not made any progress or incurred any costs as yet. So please join us on day 2, where we will cover how the allowable to date is established. I thank you very much for your time, and back to you, Evelio.
Thank you, Wasim. We have come to the end of the first day of this virtual seminar. We trust you enjoyed the session on our first principle of effective cost control. If you haven't registered for tomorrow and day 3, please follow the QR code on screen to book your virtual seat. Don't forget to fill in the feedback form and take advantage of our seminar promotions. You're also welcome to leave any questions or comments. Thank you and goodbye for now.